Roy Hallenbeck, head coach of the Millville Thunderbolts. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, how's everything?
Very good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Thanks for joining us. We just had Brian Carmichael on, head coach at Egg Harbor Township. We were talking a little bit about your boy Buddy Kennedy and his verbal to North Carolina. He'll be heading there, I guess, fall 2016. Tell us a little bit about this young man. Coach Carmichael had a lot of good things to say, and obviously he hopes you sit him out for the games when you play Egg Harbor Township next year.
Yeah, probably not likely, but appreciate Carmichael trying, that's for sure. I mean, first and foremost, Buddy's a great kid. I mean, he's a hard worker, dedicated worker, great teammate, great leader, all those things. So, those are the most important things, Besides that, he's a special player as well. He hits for average, hits for power. He runs well, plays at outstanding third base, and will be one of our top pitchers. So he pretty much does about a little bit of everything.
What did you think of him when he came in as a freshman?
Well, we had a really strong class come in that year. So, we were looking at a lot of those guys, and a lot of those guys played as freshmen. We were pretty young. And Buddy actually played a lot of the season at shortstop for us that year, a position he had never played, but we just kind of shoved guys around and tried to give us the best chance, and he did a really nice job for us. So we kind of knew then that him, along with some other guys in that class, that we really had hopefully some special kids, and it'd be fun to watch them mature as they go along.
What was the recruiting process like for him? I mean, obviously, to get a deal to go to North Carolina is huge. I mean, just an outstanding baseball program, one of the best in the nation. How much did he lean on you in terms of the recruiting process, and what kind of advice did you offer him?
Well, I was always there if he needed anything. Try to just, lay back a little bit, because after all, it is a family decision. But, I think that Buddy's such a quiet and humble kid. I don't think he necessarily enjoyed all the attention, and the phone calls all the time, and you gotta call this guy at this time right after your game and things like that. He really just likes to play, and he's generally a humble and shy kid. So I think it was a little bit of an eye opener for him, that there was that much attention, things like that, because his on-field demeanor and his off-field demeanor are completely different. He's a monster, he's a killer on the field, and he's not that type of kid off the field at all. So, I think it played a little bit of a toll on him. I think it was a huge relief when he was able to finally commit and have that behind him and just be able to relax and play baseball. The one thing I did tell him, I would try to answer any questions they had, his mom and dad and him. But once he had offers from Maryland, East Carolina, Missouri, and UNC, and there were others that may have been coming in, but I told him, I said, it's impossible to mess this up. Every school that has offered you great schools, great baseball, you can't make a mistake. So just and we would talk more about the school itself, not the baseball aspect of it, because those were givens. Those are big time baseball schools. So just where do you want to live? What's your day-to-day life going to be, and where are you most comfortable?
We're talking with Millville High School baseball coach Roy Hallenbeck. One of his guys, Buddy Kennedy, just gave his verbal to attend University of North Carolina next year. Coach, how big of a relief is that for him to get that out of the way so early in his senior year and kind of be able to focus his winter workouts on next year and go into spring kind of knowing what his future's set up to be?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that the other day, and I could tell that he was just relieved and excited and all those things. He playing on the Evo Shield Canes is a national team. They go to showcases and tournaments all the time. So basically, the spotlight is always on. That he's always being evaluated, and the watches are always on him and everything like that. So the idea that maybe he can just kind of step back for a little while and just play baseball for the remainder of his fall season here, and then going into next year, I think he's kind of looking forward to that, enjoying playing for playing, not playing for evaluation or whatever. So, he may only have a small window of that because the following year he may be going through that same process again with a different level. But that's down the road. So we're just going to relax and kind of enjoy the time right now.
Do you worry at all about him putting too much pressure on himself as a senior? knowing that he's a North Carolina recruit to try to go out there and hit a home run every time and carry this team on a daily basis. Have you had any conversations with him? I know it's kind of far in advance the high school baseball season, but just to say, hey, look, you've already proven what kind of talent you are. Go out there, have some fun, enjoy your teammates, enjoy your final season of high school baseball.
Well, it's funny. What you just described is what we try to convince most of our players about. It's not just exclusive to Buddy, and I'm sure Brian Carmichael was just on. He would tell you the same thing. These guys want to win, and they want to perform so badly that I feel like I spend a good deal of my coaching time trying to get them to understand that they just need to relax and play. Try to leave all that stuff outside the fence, and when they get inside, just play. And simplify things. I do worry about that with Buddy, but to answer your question, I kind of worry about that with all my players, and we talk long and hard about that, how they handle that, and just trying to enjoy the moment and understand that failure is a part of it. So just go play, and those are some of the discussions we have on a daily basis in our locker room.
I know Buddy did some working out with Mike Trout this summer. How big is that for these guys in your program to be able to look at a kid like Mike Trout and even interact with him? Here's a guy who's one of the top players in Major League Baseball, and these guys know him. They kind of grew up with him a little bit. It's got to be a great thing to have him still be such a big part of your program.
Yeah, and it is kind of changing because our guys are that much younger now, and they don't necessarily have the personal connection to him anymore. They were, in middle school when he was drafted, and now to see him, he is that celebrity, best player in the game, Mike Trout. He's not the Millville kid that everybody knows. I went through that last year. I realized that when our captain, A.J. Clark, got his picture taken with him for being awarded our number one, and he was just gushing. He
starstruck, right?
It hit me that AJ doesn't know him. He was just a young kid. So we're at that point now. We've been, Mike's been out long enough where these guys only know him from what they see on TV. So to have him, either reach out and that he sent us the cleats last year or whatever. It's a different dynamic for these kids, and it means a lot to them. We're certainly, grateful to Mike for that.
For people who don't know Mike Trout, you've seen him grow up since a little kid. What strikes me, even though he's as well known as he is now and doing such great things on the major league level, he always has that hometown connection, and he's such a humble kid. I mean, I was struck by that when I covered him when he was a sophomore in high school. Just a kid who just, even still now you see it in some of the interviews, he just doesn't feel comfortable with all that attention. He's just a ball player.
Yeah, he's probably got so many opportunities. If he wanted, we could be seeing him on TV all the time with, different ads and marketing and things like that. And it's just, not really what his makeup is. I haven't talked to him personally about it in a while, but I mean, I guarantee you now he's in the woods someplace hunting, or he's on a golf course or something like that. And, he would much rather be doing that with his friends and just relaxing and spending that kind of time, than going out and hustling and being on TV all the time. So he's a really, a simple kid, and I mean that in the best way, where, his needs are simple. He just wants to enjoy what he's doing. He's not chasing money or anything like that, and he's just, enjoying his life. And it's a pretty good life to have right now to be him.
Sure, no doubt. Real quick before we let you go, Coach, Carmichael put in his World Series pick. He's going with the Cubs. Who you got?
Well, I mean, long before Mike Trout got drafted and went to the Angels, and I watch Angels games every night now. I'm a Mets fan. I'm up from upstate New York, and the last time the Mets were decent was when Mike Trout and his buddies were here, and they would text me every night as the Mets were collapsing and the Phillies were catching. And so I gotta go with my Mets and hope they can get through. I don't necessarily think they will. I think Carmichael might be right. I think it's the year for the Cubs, but I'm going to root for my Mets.
I don't know, man. They got some tough pitching, the Mets. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's good. When you got Syndergaard coming in throwing 100 in the seventh inning, that's not a bad bullpen. Exactly.
I appreciate you taking a few minutes, Coach. Tell Buddy we said congratulations and good luck next year. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Coach. That was Coach Roy Hallenbeck from the Millville Thunderbolts baseball team.